has something to say will be allowed that opportunity. The meeting is being recorded for review and future comment. And we're going to dispense with the rest of the verbiage that the state handed down. We've been down this road for a couple of years, so we can continue with the beginning of the Board of Health meeting. Evening, Bill.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Do you want to start off with your list?
Well,
Or do
you know,
we
if,
want to do,
if
Joan is
Joan,
online, do we want to bump her to the top and just do that? I think
that way
that
then
probably
she can
makes
get on with
sense.
her evening.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, exactly. So Joan, tell us what the situation is, what happened?
Okay, so we did the regularly scheduled compliance check, and we had some violators in Berlin. Two have paid. One hasn't paid or appealed, but it's just about 21 days. So we'll give them that courtesy call to ask what their intentions are. And then if they don't have any intentions of paying, we have to pull them into a non-payment hearing. And then we have the case of we do have one retailer that contacted me and said he fully intends to pay. He has difficulties in paying this week. It's the 21 days is up. He has difficulties to pay. So he asked for an extension. He asked for a payment plan or an extension of time. I recommend an extension of time. And I talked about it with Bill. And what happens is in their violation letter, they're told that they have to request a hearing within 7 days to appeal it, or they have 21 days to pay it, and it instructs them to pay it to the town of Berlin. All of the fines get collected through your town clerk's office, and it goes into your general fund. So the clerk magistrates used to hear the fine part, and boards of health used to hear the permit suspension part. When COVID hit, across the board, the court system and the clerk of courts have asked that boards of health now hear the fine part and the permit suspension part, if there is a permit suspension that goes along with the violation. So this is the first one since the COVID that has happened, first time that Berlin has had this kind of violation. And as you can see in the paperwork, the local violation fine for your local reg is 100, 200, 300, but the state increased it to 1,000, 2,000, 5,000. So when we do a local inspection for you, we have to use the state fining structure and the state order, because a board of health can do more than, but they can't do less than. So again, these were sales to minors. 2 retailers paid, 1 we have to track down, and 1 says, I want to pay, but can I have a payment plan? I recommend a extension, because you don't want to collect 200 a week or whatever. You would want to just give them an extension of 30 days or 45. Originally, he asked for 8 months, but I said that, I can't speak for the board, but that would be unreasonable. Talked about, 45 days, and this was a week and a half ago. So I talked with Bill about it, and Bill talked to the chair, and we put it on the agenda, and I told him that I'd let him know, because whatever you decide to do sets the policy moving forward if anybody else needs extra time. However, with clerk magistrates, what would happen is at 21 days, if I didn't give the people an extra week and I went into court, the clerk magistrates would be very angry, because if it's somebody who wants to pay, they don't want us to waste court time. And I'm sure you wouldn't want us to waste board time either. Now, it usually takes 30 days to get a court hearing, or if you only meet once a month, it takes an additional you wouldn't put it on your agenda for non-payment till next month anyway. So I think, 30 days is a reasonable extension. Lots of times boards will, we don't really have a board meeting to discuss it, but Berlin has had so low level violations that these are issues that I've never had to work out how you want us to proceed, because they usually aren't typically issues in Berlin.
What was the date of the violation?
I don't have it right in front of me, but we did email it to all of you.
Oh.
But the violation order went out April 4th, and they received it on April 9th, because we did sign return receipt. But the actual date of the violation, I think, may have been, it would have been in March. So, it is reasonable to ask for a 30-day extension, because when a hearing happens at the board level, if they want to appeal it further, they would appeal it to the clerk magistrate. If it happens at the clerk magistrate level and they're not happy with what the clerk magistrate says, they appeal it to a judge. I've been doing this since 1994. I've only had 2 appeals to a judge and won them both. And I've lost less than 5 cases in a clerk magistrate's hearing in since 1994. So we have a pretty good track record of, you know, what we should and shouldn't be doing. But I do think if somebody can't pay in the 21 days, a month is a reasonable extension because it takes a month to get to your once a month agenda anyway.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think there may be some background here. I mean, some people can legitimately not pay and other people are going to ask for that just to string us along. And if the establishment that was in violation is the one that I'm thinking, they do not have a very good payment record with the town, period.
Okay.
They're in arrears on a lot of different things. And
He did say he was working with an accountant and that he was, you know, he would accept, you know, whatever was reasonable. Like, right, if I, you know, at this particular point, he hasn't paid in the 21 days is up now since he received it. So what I would normally
Okay.
do with every retailer, I call and say, did this get lost in the shuffle? Do you need an additional week? Can you pay it by the close of business on Friday? That's what we typically do. And that's what's expected by clerk magistrates. If they say no, I've never had anybody say no. This is the first time I've ever encountered anybody even asking for a payment plan. And we have $2,000 fines and we've had $5,000 fines. We did have a business who voluntarily gave up his tobacco license and he was in the process of selling his business and they put, for a $5,000 fine, they put a lien for the $5,000 fine owed to the town. That happened in Fitchburg. So this, you know, like I said, it isn't common that somebody asks for a payment plan.
no, understood.
Well, I mean, whatever it is, it could end up being 30 days by the time, no, you have 5 days to pay it. And then we have to, you know, get on the agenda for non-payment for the next time. It's going to be around 30 days. Either way.
If a violator is given X number of days, okay, and they don't fulfill that obligation, what's the mechanism? What happens? Does anything happen?
They would remove their tobacco products until paid. So we would hold a non-payment hearing and the board would order that the tobacco products be removed till paid.
Okay, all right.
So that's something you can do.
These fines are all $1,000, Joan?
For first offense is $1,000, but it now triggers a multiple re-inspection. So if they sell again in the next 36 months, it's $2,000. And if they sell again, and it's the third violation in a 36-month period, it's $5,000. And the $2,000 carries a 7-day permit suspension where you have to remove the tobacco from your store for 7 days.
Okay.
And then
Has
the
that been done yet?
No, because it's their first violation.
Yeah, so they're all $1,000 fines. Yeah.
For the first offense in a 36-month, it's $2,000 for a second offense in a 36, and it's $5,000 in a 30-day suspension. And on the fourth violation, it's $5,000, and the board could hold a hearing and revoke the permit for a year.
Mhm.
36 months is a long time to not make a mistake because it's in the
Sure
state.
is, yeah.
It's in the state database. So the four Berlin violators will be re-inspected by me locally on your behalf, where that fine will be collected by you if there's another, and you know, it would be processed by you if there's another violation. Now, the state inspectors are going to come out and do a couple inspections between now and June, and the federal inspectors are going to come out and do a couple inspections between now and the end of the fiscal year. So it's not a good thing to be a violator, and it's you know, once you get more than one violation in 36 months, it's considered egregious. So, you know, moving forward with all of these retailers, we're giving them the education to make sure that they're vigilant. Do they need, because our goal is not to catch people in non-compliance. We provide them with a lot of education and materials and let them know that they're being inspected to prevent, our job is to prevent the mistakes.
Right,
that have happened.
you'd rather see them succeed in the
Yeah.
appropriate sales of things, sure, yeah.
I'm funded on compliance, not non-compliance. I'm funded that our educational efforts given to the merchants work. But I will tell you, there's been a lot of sales, a lot of new owners during COVID. Some stores look like the small neighborhood store, and we find out like the owner owns 32 of them in multiple different communities. So they're really not that small struggling corner store.
Right.
So I mean, there's lots of information that we've been, with enforcement, and we gave out for the month of March 55 violations, and many of them were $2,000 fines. So, and to put it in perspective, in June of 2020, the Tobacco Alliance for the month had 11 sales, and we were on a statewide call, and people were shocked and awe over 11 sales. What is going on in Leominster and Fitchburg that there would have been 11 sales, and now it's nothing to be writing out 25 to 30 violations a month. So
Wow.
when I'm on the next call to say 55 violations in 1 month at 1,000 to 2,000 a pop, it's insane. Town general funds are raking in money, and that's not the purpose of public health.
No, it isn't. Let me put this out before the board and yourself, Joan. You say that 21 days is basically up today from the initial infraction.
I think it was up Thursday, but I was in COVID.
Okay, all right, close enough.
Yeah,
What-
I was quarantined for COVID till Thursday.
right,
I haven't
right,
been able
right.
to. So we
Well-
sometimes we fall a little behind, so they get a little extra time, but.
Well, today being the 3rd, I'm willing to go 21 days out from today. Call it May 25th on a Wednesday, that they should have their fine paid.
Okay, let me write that down.
Sue and Bobby, any thoughts on that?
So moving forward, the standard would be if somebody's in the same circumstance making the same request, the
Right.
standard for Berlin will be, we'll give you an extra 21 days.
Okay,
Or
I'm
what-
all right, I'm
would
all
it-
right with that.
Yeah, would it end up being though, Joan, actually 30 and all if we add it up? Or is that what?
Well, what you would do is it could end up being 30, because what happens is if they don't pay in the 21 days, you have to hold a hearing to take the next course of action at your next meeting. So they could end up with a lag time, but that would be, the 21 days is where we would take action. But what I'd like to recommend is that we put in we would, they made a request, so you'd make a motion, the policy would be 21 days extension, and you would put in that notice to the retailer that if you have not paid in 21 days, you must remove your tobacco products until paid. And then I could call on the 22nd day, the 21st night, and say, we haven't received payment, you must remove your tobacco products tomorrow morning for business. And then most people will get it paid no later than that.
Right.
I would draft up the letter to what I'm saying. So it would be, you would say that you're going to grant a 21-day extension with removal of products if not paid in 21 days until paid.
That would be my intent. If the board agrees.
Okay,
I'm okay with it.
I can live with that. Yep.
I mean, we could certainly play harder ball than that, but that's not really why we're here. As Joan says, it's more about getting things done right. And first offense, we'll give them 21 days from today.
Now, you'll have to make a motion to agree on that, because instead of, how I viewed this agenda item is setting policy for the circumstance, not necessarily the individual retailer. So moving
Sure.
forward, everybody's treated the same.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion that the Board of Health will set a policy that we will allow a 21-day extension in future, with future violators if they cannot pay the fine within the initial time period.
Is that from the day they get the letter or from when it's sent out? just to clarify.
It has to be 21 days from when they receive it. They have the right from the day they receive it. But right now we have the funds to send everything out, return receipt, so we can verify exactly when they receive it.
Very good, Joan. That's what I was looking for. Thank you.
I mean, we don't always have that kind of money, but right now we do. They gave us extra money for enforcement. And again, to make clear, her motion is only when requested. It's not an automatic. It's only when
Correct.
they have when requested.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
Let's take a vote on that. Sue made the motion. I will second it. Roll call, Bobby,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Paul, I as well. So the motion passes.
Okay, perfect. Would you like me, Sue, to draft up language to send to the Berlin Board of Health, like draft language, and then you can just send it out on the letterhead? I can draft the language of the notice that's gonna go to the retailer. I can actually send it as your agent and send you a copy of it. Either way.
That would work.
Agent. I just don't have Berlin letterhead, but I can send it out on our tobacco control letterhead on behalf of, or I can ask, is it Donna?
Donna is there.
So
on
I can ask
Friday.
Donna to scan me over some letterhead. It's better if it goes out on letterhead when it's been a motion of the board, but
Right.
I can message Donna to send me, and if not, I can get it out on mine and then just send you guys a copy for your records.
Okay, now the email address that I sent you, the Zoom link, is that a good one for you?
Yes, that's the only one for us.
I can email you a copy of our letterhead. I have
Okay,
it on my
perfect.
laptop.
Okay, so are you the secretary to the board as a board member, and then Donna's the secretary to the office?
No, I'm actually what's considered a clerk.
Clerk, okay.
And Donna is our administrator in the office. We only
Okay.
have it 4 hours a week, supposedly.
Oh, okay. Okay, gotcha. Okay, I just was trying to figure out because I was like, we email to Berlin all the time, but it wasn't your email, so I want to make sure that we're sending information to the right place.
Yeah, you email it to the Board of Health. And, Donna tries to look at all the email on Friday, but again, she only has 4 hours. Bill tries to catch it if he thinks it's important for us to see, but we've just been buried.
Yeah, no, I understand. I try to CC Bill and everything. And then if you'd like me to CC you, I mean, I'll send anything anywhere you need me to, but I do try to CC Bill and anything and everything, because I'm not, some smaller boards are part-time, they're not there. And plus we've been working with Neshoba for years and years, so we understand that you have part-time agents, so. Okay,
I will get
All
that
right.
letterhead out to you tonight.
okay, thank you so much.
You're
All right,
welcome.
Joan, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
for letting
Joe.
me go first. I appreciate it.
No problem. Hope you feel better.
I'm getting there. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Who's coughing?
Me.
All right.
All right, Bill.
Bobby, I can't look at that snow anymore.
I know.
I got on late. I was trying to get it off and I started messing up my computer trying to get the picture off, Billy. It's not even my house anymore.
Yeah. Well, now that we're talking about that, it's not on the agenda, but I did receive a soil testing application for 32 West Street today. So instead of doing a Title V, they're just going to move forward with an upgrade. I spoke to the new owner today and called and left a message for his engineer. So that is moving forward.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Well, the broker did the Title V, Billy, and I don't know if he told you or if he got a copy of that, did he?
Well,
From-
they get a letter too. I still have not seen a
Yeah.
Title V, but
Yeah,
at least we go with
Andy
soil
Curtis
testing
did it, or
application.
his company did it for the broker. Then the broker sold it to the new owner. So
Well, they all got the letter, so we'll see if it
Yes.
generates the Title V.
I even got one back.
Yes.
Okay, let's get going here. Bill, take it away.
Well, if we go in order here, what do we got? 81 Walnut Street. I put that on only because I think the owner met with the board last meeting and I was unable to attend. So
Yeah.
I didn't know if there was any follow-up.
Well, Paul was going to read the 100-page document he was presented with.
No, I really have no updates on that at all. I did notice that a fence has gone up.
Oh, it did? Yeah.
Yeah, stockade cedar fence.
Yeah.
And
Where do you get one
really,
now?
you know, I mean, we kind of regurgitated what I believe you told Mr. Monahan, Bill, was that there's no apparent issue having livestock on the neighboring land. If there was going to be a stockpiling of manure and so forth, then it would be a different situation.
Correct.
But there's nothing that prevents the landowner from doing what he's proposing to do.
All right.
Did you had the same take, correct, Bill?
Absolutely. I try to put it simply that the board doesn't regulate land use.
Right.
You know, I didn't see a mechanism legally where we could stop that. So, you know, I understand the concern, but I really didn't see a route by which we could tackle that. And I haven't heard from the Mr. Monahan, so I don't know where it's
I
going.
am going to reach out to John Phipps just to find out, try and get some kind of idea how many heads of livestock he's talking, and just convey that to Joe Monahan. I don't know how well those two are conversing relative to this. I mean, if John Phipps is planning on 20 head of cattle, that might be an issue, but he's only got, I think it's a little less than 5 acres. And, you know, I imagine it's, you know, a couple beefers, maybe a couple pigs or something. I mean, you know, with food prices, and this is a right to farm community. So it's really not in our domain, not at this point.
All right. 282 Linden Street began as a building permit for a, it's a a detached garage. And then it was modified to add an office, kitchenette, and bathroom on the second floor. So currently we have, you know, a typical sewage ejector pump being proposed to pump wastewater from the garage to the home. So, you know, I said I needed to talk to the board to see how you wanted to treat, you know, if it was a detached, you know, in-law, like a true living quarters, the board is always required a 2-compartment tank or 2 tanks in series.
Right.
This, you know, appears to be more like a workshop, pool house, you know, not a living space, but a workspace being served by that pump. So this would be allowed by Title V, but again, want to make sure that the board didn't feel that a new tank was necessary.
They didn't add bedrooms, did they, Billy? Or no?
No, they're showing an office, a kitchenette, and a bathroom.
Okay. With a shower? No, you just don't know. Just a bed.
From the plans, it looks like a toilet and sink.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah. So there's two issues at hand. One, is the board okay with the use of an ejector pump for this proposed space?
Well, based on what you're able to decipher from the plans, now, if there was another room that could be a bedroom, or if a shower or a tub were included, then I might be a little wary of just allowing an ejector pump. But if we're talking a sink and toilet, on the surface, it reads okay to me.
It does, I agree. But again, I wanted to run it by the board. And whether or not we'll be issuing a permit for the connection, or sometimes Al will take a plumbing inspector full jurisdiction because they're proposing to pump into the house plumbing. So not tying into the sewer line outside of the home to tie it into the
Oh, okay.
existing.
Okay, yeah.
So
I see.
I've kind of learned that about a year ago, that Al can actually take jurisdiction because it's it's plumbing inside, being pumped to plumbing inside. If it's being pumped to a sewer line or a tank outside, then we issue a permit. So I'll talk to Al about who's going to take over that jurisdiction.
Okay,
Is that on a slab, Billy? Do we know? or-
Well, it's a garage, yes. So the first floor garage and finished space
Yeah.
above.
Okay.
So the other question is, though, it's a 4-bedroom septic system. And so I asked for a layout of the house to get a room count plus 1 in the garage. My room count looks like the house itself has 10 rooms. So basically, they're already a 5-bedroom by definition. So you add 1, you're 11. So 4-bedroom deed restriction appears to be necessary. So if the board agrees with that room count, I'll let the owners know.
yes.
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 All right. All right, so we took care of number 3 already with Joan.
Yeah,
191 Lancaster Road, relatively new complaint. If you're in the area, take a ride by, see what you think, but I'm going to issue a letter. Person's dumping what appears to be demolition materials. There's full garbage bags of unknown content. I got the call just before I took school break off, and I did go to the property, knocked on the door, no response, left a business card there for them to call me. They haven't. So I'm just probably going to send the standard 30-day letter, but feel free to take a look if you're in that part of town.
Is that on the right, Billy?
As you're heading out towards Bolton, it's going to be one of the, it's probably 5 or 6 houses on the right before you get to the town line.
Right.
It's
yeah,
not quite
okay.
where you get to Dobek's on the left. It's before that on the right. It's just after the Rod and Gun entrance there, the Clinton.
oh, all
Rod and
right.
Gun.
Yeah,
Right there.
yeah.
This is a ranch. So
Yep. Okay.
I'm going to take another ride by this week, make sure it's still there. And if so, issue the 30-day letter.
Okay,
Let's see. So that brings us to permits. 163 South Street is a Dbox permit, and that was discovered below. We have a Title V inspection for 163 South Street. So that came in as a conditional pass, needing a Dbox. So that's a permit for that work.
Yep.
And again, that'll be drafted and signed by me if the board's good with that.
Yep, I am.
Me too.
And, well, go ahead.
I said, no, me too. I'm good with it.
And then 19 Brigham Road was a Dbox replacement. Installer called in an emergency. The homeowner just noticed a sinkhole in their yard and dug it up and found out the Dbox had collapsed. So that wasn't part of a Title V inspection. It was just something that luckily was caught before it did any damage to the system.
okay.
That's one of the newer homes that Mr. Rhodes built, at the end of
Okay.
Brigham Road.
Yep,
Yeah.
So that again is a permit for Dbox.
Okay.
And then 28 Oak Street is, if you recall, that house, the board required a second tank to be installed because it was a 2-unit. This goes back quite a few years.
Right.
So the
Yeah.
installer came in to find out about the permit, and we discovered it had expired. So this is a new permit to do that same work, which was adding a 1,000-gallon septic tank after the existing 1,500-gallon tank.
Yep. That was Bartlett's old house, Billy?
Yeah, the last house on the left on Oak.
Yep. Okay.
And now, Sue, did you receive plans on Wilson Road? I texted the engineer, but he never texted me back.
Yeah, hold on. Let's see what I can pull up. I had them all set up.
That was from Dillis and Roy.
Yeah, Seth
Yeah.
Donahoe.
Yeah,
Which one was that one, Billy? The,
This is lot 9A and 12A on Wilson Road, which is the 40B off of South
yeah,
Street,
yeah.
Mr. Rhodes.
Yeah. right.
Yeah, I have his variance letter.
That,
That's
if
what-
you could forward to me, that's for 263 West Street. We actually have to schedule that hearing tonight.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm assuming that's the one from Jack Maloney.
yeah, that is, yep.
I haven't seen it yet, but
was
I
the
assume it's on the
restaurant,
Board of
right, Bill?
Health machine. I'll get to it Thursday and issue the variance hearing once we pick a time and date.
Okay.
so who would have sent that?
It would have been
That would've
Seth Donahoe.
Oh, okay, hold on. I know.
We already had those plans, didn't we,
I
Billy?
didn't see anything on Wilson Road.
Well, we've seen lots 1 through
Yeah,
1 through 6, I think.
right.
So this is 9A and 12A.
Right,
Pretty much identical. You know, all the lots out there are either 2 25-foot trenches or 2 38-foot trenches, depending on if it's a 2 or 3 bedroom. All have fast units and you know, their own well. That's how they ended up going out there.
that morphed through several different
Oh yeah.
proposals.
Yep.
Certainly did.
And I'm not seeing anything, I'm looking from.
Well,
They are,
Oh,
they're Title V, up to Title V, right, Billy?
no,
Well, but-
he sent them really early.
I could see when I texted him. I think it was last Monday. But regardless, I mean, the board can take action. I've got the hard copies, or we can bump them to next. But again, they're identical to the first 6 lots that have been approved by the board.
Okay, let
I've
me
reviewed
see
them.
if I
Yeah.
can share.
I sent that on last Thursday. Which
Now,
would have been, what, the 28th, I guess? I texted on April 28th.
all right, now, can you all see this?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I guess scroll to bring the layout to the center there, yeah.
So that's 9, that's 8A, Billy? Yeah, okay.
This
8A
is
and
9A.
That's 8A.
No, 8A is next to it, I think, Paul.
No,
That's
wait a minute,
9A.
you're right, yep.
Yeah, the 9A is
10A.
much smaller print.
Yeah,
So again,
that's
this is
10A.
this is a 2-bedroom. So this has 2 25-foot trenches with the fast unit and the 1,500-gallon tank and proposed well in the rear. And again, all of these lots have the same list of variances that were approved under the 40B decision.
They do have reserve trenches, huh, Billy? No matter
Yeah,
what.
reserve between, that's a requirement of Title V, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah, about the same as the rest of them. I don't see any issue. I mean, except for, I want to do that.
Yeah, this one's one of the simpler ones because you've got the house well system all there.
Right.
You'll see on the
Yeah,
next
right
lot,
on.
it's one of the ones with the crazy necks that has the well,
Yeah.
quite a distance away from the home.
Oh, yeah.
So if the board doesn't have any questions, that's lot 9A.
Okay, I don't have any questions.
So that permit,
I'm,
again, once drafted, I can sign for the board.
Yes,
Yes.
Yeah, and then I think 12A probably came over also.
let's see. You have to go to the email and open it up.
You're doing good, Sue.
Okay,
Now this one here, if you just want to kind of slide it a little bit, you can see the well for
Oh, yeah,
12A is quite a
Comes around
distance from the
behind.
home.
Yeah.
you can see that neck of land that travels along the property line. That's 12A, and it continues to wrap around. It wraps around 11A as well, and there's 12A as well right there at the bottom of the screen.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And what
I see
they've
there's
done
3
is
of 'em.
they've created a utility easement that kind of wraps around the
Yeah.
perimeter of the property that contains the water line, so that if repairs have to be made, they do have access to it.
Gee, do
So
you
they're not
think
trying
those,
to stick, they're not trying to stick the water line in that little neck of land. They're just creating a wide enough
Right.
easement to service.
gee,
whatever.
do you think those pumps are gonna burn out quick?
Well, if they're sized properly, they should last, but again, that's the key, because that is quite a distance.
That's quite a distance.
My guess is they're much larger than your normal pump would have
I
to be,
would hope they are.
you know, to provide pressure, number one, and number two, just to cut that distance.
To move volume that distance, yeah.
Yep. But again, it's all math.
Yeah, it is, right.
So
Which
that's
I'm not gonna
12A,
do
and,
right
and this
now.
is a 3-bedroom home, so this has 2 38-foot trenches with the fast unit ahead of it.
Okay, I have no problem with it. What was it, 12A or 10A, Billy? 12?
That was lot
9A and
9A, and this one
12A.
here is 12A.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and Whitney Road?
Yeah, the engineer texted me today, said he sent it over. It would be from probably Brandon Ducharme from Ross Associates
I saw those holes, Billy. It looked pretty gravelly there. It's-
on Whitney.
Yeah, they're right before the first house between the.
Yeah.
the-
Yeah, this lot actually had a permit years ago. When was it Ronnie Wheeler?
You were put-
He owned that.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
this had a permit years ago. We actually went out and redid the soil testing. Not sure we had to, but I don't think the engineer necessarily knew that it had been tested and permitted in the past.
Right.
So
Right.
we've got plenty of testing here. No variances needed, and actually going with that geomat product to keep the try to minimize the mound, because again, it's we had water at 2.5 feet, so.
Yeah, I knew it had to be close, but it's, yeah.
I
Yep.
was just gonna ask you about Geomat. Wasn't there another one going?
Yeah, that
into
was,
town?
That was on Lyman Road, and it hasn't gone
Right.
in yet. Yep.
Yeah.
No, I got a note to call you when it's going in, and they haven't, it was too
Oh, there
wet.
it
They
is.
just, I think they shut the project down, and they're probably restarting
Oh, okay.
now. Yep. So this is just after the Rotary, just after the Autism Center, pretty much across from the backside of the hotel, next to the Shell station.
Oh, all right.
Right
and then
after
there's-
right after the old golf,
Yes.
what is it,
Yep.
the mini golf?
Yep, and then there's like 2 or 3 newer homes, you know, beyond this.
Yes.
This just lot was never built. I think there were 4 lots there.
Right.
So this shows a tank and pump chamber pumping to a geomat bed. And again, it's variance free. It's in season testing. They meet all their offsets. So
Yeah.
again, it had been
And that'll be-
permitted before. I checked the old permit, and that had no variances. So this kind of confirms that same location.
So the mat will be 5 feet, Billy, up over?
Well, the bottom, the geomat sets on 6 inches of Presby sand. So the bottom of that
Oh,
Presby sand is 5 feet above water table
Wow.
at 2.5 feet. So you're 2.5, 3 feet out of ground, and then,
Cuts
a
it
foot of
back.
cover.
Yeah.
So it's still a mound,
Yeah.
but it's if it was trenches, it would be another 1.5, 2 foot higher.
Sure. No, I just was, I happened to go by there and look Sunday and saw the piles of, looked pretty nice gravel there. I was like, wow, that's, the other house actually sits down a little lower just beyond it, doesn't it? Just a wee bit.
Yes. Yep.
Yep. I have no problem with it.
Yeah, and again, I'll put a note in the file when this goes in. I think this will go in soon. I know they're anxious to build.
Yeah.
So I'll
Okay,
have you
cool.
out to
I'd like to see that, yeah.
take a look.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's interesting. Again, time will tell on all of these, but this is certainly a desirable product from an aesthetic and cost point of view because of the minimization of fill and mounding. You know,
Right.
again, your profile of the system's 1.5 inches versus, you know, 1.5 feet or 2 feet, so makes a
Sure.
difference. Yep. Yeah, so if the board's okay with that, I will again draft a permit and sign it for the board.
Okay,
Okay.
And that brings us to Title V inspection reports. So 8 Car Road was a pass,
Okay,
and 261 Pleasant Street was a pass.
okay, and the third one was a conditional pass.
Conditional pass, correct. Yep. You're paying attention, Sue.
Yeah.
That's what they paid me the big bucks for.
Yeah. So one thing not on the agenda again, since we did get that variance letter, we can schedule the 263 West Street hearing. That's for the old flat penny.
oh, that's coming up? Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I don't know,
That's-
is that something you can share, Sue? The letter?
On 263 West Street, yeah,
Yeah.
now that I've got my sharing figured out. Hold on, let me go back to my mail.
It's gonna be a tight one by the sound, Billy, but what are you gonna
It
do
is.
there? You got,
Very.
looks like they're trying to solve it.
Yeah, they're actually losing some seats due to the zone 1 radius from that well that serves
Oh,
the
no
property
kidding.
and the house next door.
Yeah, no kidding. Wow. Well, I'd like to see it up and running and upgraded, so what the heck?
Yeah, it's been a long time coming.
Yeah, yeah.
This says proposed 4-bedroom, single-family dwelling?
No, that's
Um,
the one on Linden. We just did.
Oh, the plan I was looking at, that's what it said. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I've got this letter.
So this
Okay,
is,
here's the letter.
That one's for Linden Street. Oh, no, that's West Street. You got it, Sue. Yeah.
it is. I'm not sure his list is complete. I'll call him and iron out what needs to be done before I fill out the hearing notice. I thought I had talked to him about a couple others. But again, you know, you can see,
Who's doing that? Jack Malone?
yeah,
Maloney?
Jack Maloney at Ducharme.
he knows.
Yeah, I'm sorry,
Yeah, he
yeah,
knows
Dillis
what-
and Roy.
Yeah, they know what they're doing.
So I'm looking at to go 2 meetings, that'll be what, June 7th at 7:30?
Yes,
Okay.
So I'll make sure we get all the variances needed, and I will get that notice off to him and the owner.
Okay.
And Sue, if that's something that's easily forwarded, maybe you can zip it over to Deb Bill tonight, because that way I'll print it and have a copy for tomorrow.
Bill, for you, I can do almost anything.
She's the best. She's the best.
Yes.
Just don't call me a secretary.
That was clear tonight.
Oh, goodness.
I called,
Secretary.
just yesterday, I called her money bags because she does all the financial stuff, so.
But that's okay.
See, she likes that. She likes the word money used
Right.
with her name, you know?
No, when I applied to be a secretary, they told me to find another field. And I think I was 19 at the time.
Well, we're lucky to have you, Susan.
Bill,
Oh.
before we end, a question unrelated to any of this. Who's the best person in Lancaster to talk to about, I'm gonna call it the history of their landfill?
Boy, that's a good one.
Shoemaker?
The current board didn't have any, dealings with it recently. I'm just trying to think. I don't know if that it might have ended up with the selectmen.
Oh, really?
I think it started out with Board of Health, but it may have ended up with selectmen.
I'll tell you specifically what I'm looking for. I want to find out what their acreage is and
Right.
when and how they closed out and made it ready for a solar array.
Okay,
Because we're just wasting our landfill. And I want to
Yeah.
have some comparatives, because I know the Lancaster landfill wasn't very big.
well, now I know that solar field abuts the actual capped mound. I'm not sure if that land is part of the landfill or.
Oh,
abuts-
really? Oh, I
Yeah.
thought it
Oh, yeah,
was.
yeah, there are vents there, right, Billy? Now
Yeah,
that
the
you say
vents are
that.
where the actual mound is, if you look through the trees, and then that field kind of sits next to the mound.
Oh, next to it. All right.
But it's all
Okay.
town land, I think, but I just don't know if it's actually part of the landfill or not.
No, I'll just
But-
snoop around.
But I might, I'll probably text you the chairman's number and,
Okay.
you know, he can probably direct you, because
No, that would be great.
it might
Just
be
that would be
selectmen.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Anything else?
Yeah, I'm actually in town tomorrow, Paul. Maybe I can ask around town hall too. I'll see if I can find something out.
Okay, there's an envelope on the desk for you with a permit fee, and I forgot whether it was Bolton or Harvard. It was in our mailbox.
All right.
And Paul, I'll be chasing you down tomorrow to sign off on this agreement and it's for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. So
Okay, okay.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
it was one of those things that was hiding in my email.
And Bobby, just to let you know, today we finally got some pricing and a location to get rid of glass, so I told BP to do it.
Yep.
It's gonna
Very
cost
good.
us, it's gonna cost us about what trash costs us, but at least it's being recycled. And
It's
I happened
going,
to run
right.
into the FinCom chairman yesterday and told him that just explain what the market is, and they said, you know, even if it costs us a few dollars, I want to continue doing glass recycling because the public is used to that, and
I
that
agree.
market may evolve yet. So, and he
Certainly.
said for a few bucks more, absolutely do it. So,
Very good.
because I've had conversations, people have gotten me on the street. Hey, what's up with the glass? You know, yeah.
I've heard the same thing from a few people. I said, oh, we're working on it because no one's taking it. You can't get rid of it. So I'm glad
Well,
you did.
it's going down to Rainham, is being ground
Yep.
up and added to aggregate in the
Yep.
making of asphalt. So
All right.
road burns will become really serious.
Yeah, right. It's actually sand anyway when they grind it. I used to haul
If
out
they
of
grind
there.
it fine enough, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, out west at Owens Corning, that's what they use to make theirs is all recycled glass. To make your insulation is made with recycled glass, but that's out west, you know, we can't very well haul it out there, so.
All right, Bill, you got anything else for us?
I do not.
All right. I guess we
I'll
can
make
bid
a
you,
motion.
bid Bill
Should we let the-
good night and adieu, and thank you, and
Yep.
just keep us
Bye, Bill.
posted on things.
I will.
Sue, yes? Your
I'd
motion?
like to make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Oop.
Yeah, I could just give the boards a heads up. Beltview Road, that green card was received regarding that hearing in July.
Okay.
You know, I don't know what, if any, action we'll see, but I know Victoria was going to try to use that as a possible way to open up lines of communication. So we'll see how that pans out.
Yeah, I haven't caught up with Victoria the last 2 days. I've tried because we've got that situation and another one on South Street that I wanted to see if she's made any inroads.
Yeah, she had talked to me about that one also. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, very good.
We need
All right.
someone to second my motion.
I'll second it. I'll
All
second.
in favor, Sue, Bobby,
All right.
Paul, aye. Meeting of Tuesday, May 3rd is adjourned.